Episode 9, Ragai. Gloves Are Off is the title.
Yeah, this was kind of a spicy episode. We got a lot of
This is starting to just focus on the Mercedes, Red Bull, Toto, Christian, Hamilton, Verstappen battle in the closing stages.
But we got a lot of good behind-the-scenes shithousery between Toto and Christian.
Yeah, big soap off the track for sure. So the first thing, it opens up, and I thought it was funny that on the clapboard, when Toto Wolff is getting ready for his interview with the Drive to Survive people, he writes Mr. Wolff. He doesn't write Toto or Toto Wolff. He writes Mr. Wolff.
Mr. Wolff. That's very funny.
The other thing, Ryan, we were talking about seeing different angles. They showed another slow-mo angle from like behind of Max Verstappen's car careening towards the wall in the Silverstone wreck.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize the entire rear tire had popped off his car. Like, that's how violent, obviously, when
Hamilton hit him, he broke it off.
The rubber completely came off the tire.
Everything.
Or came off the wheel.
No, it was not. It was certainly not a small misjudgment by Hamilton.
Yeah, I mean, it was insane, again, seeing that and then hearing the radio again where he just gets on and goes, oh,
he was so fucking dazed. Hamilton wrecked the fuck out of Max.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look back on it, Hamilton wrecked his ass.
So the other takeaway, Ryan, we talked about how much Susie Wolff was in this episode, or in this whole season.
Yeah, it was
following Toto this entire season. We had never really seen her in DTS, Drive to Survive, before.
Yeah, barely, if at all. I remember in a previous season, we were in Toto's kitchen, and she was there with the kids or something, but she got a lot of FaceTime this go-round, and it makes me wonder if she's being groomed for something bigger.
Right, to leave Formula E and come over.
Who knows? I don't know. But
she's not in the Mercedes family, right? It's Venturi in Formula E. She's
always got one foot in.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, she's eating all her meals in the Mercedes cafeteria. So
yeah, and it's just, I get the sense that she is being groomed for a big position or something, because the way she came across in this season was like very presidential to me.
Yeah. The other thing you take away, Ryan, from the entire season, but especially this episode, is how amazing private jet life must be. Like, it's just Toto and Susie and Vals or someone in the PJ just talking about social media and stuff, and Toto's like, I don't give a fuck about it. Don't read me the social media comments, like.
I enjoy that. He's like, I'm not interested in social media. I don't give a fuck about what people are saying. And did you also enjoy him shutting down that Ziggo Sport interview? That's the Dutch television channel. Right.
Where he's like, are you drinking? The guy was trying to talk about the tactical fouls, right?
Do you drink during the day? Yes, you do. And he just walks away from the... He just wouldn't let the guy ask the question.
Right.
And then just walked away after accusing him of day drinking.
Well, that was my biggest takeaway from this one. What we already talked about, that Horner did get so under Toto's skin last season.
100%.
Like, Toto was so on edge last season with everything that Christian Horner was saying.
Yeah.
The soap off the track worked. Toto was lathered up.
I would say it worked both ways, though.
Oh, they were definitely both on edge, but Horner was really needling Toto, and it was working way more, I'd say. Because, you saw a ton of Christian Horner like, fuck them and fuck those guys. He was doing a lot of mother effing them. Yeah.
It got ugly. I mean, from Silverstone on, both teams and team principals got very toxic towards each other, and then Hungary happened, where Bottas almost killed the championship for Max, really.
Right.
And don't you remember Christian and Toto were in the paddock doing the post-race interview together? And I can't remember what Toto said something, and Christian just got so mad, and he was like, if that's fucking easy for you to say, you guys got all the points today.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the soap off the track was epic last season. And all these episodes at the end of season 4 do is remind you of all that. Yeah. How about, it struck me as well, you only had a few shots of him during this season, but Michael Masi definitely may have been a little high in his own supply, sniffing his own farts a little bit too much, because he seems way sort of comfortable and like, not as professional, I'd say, Like,
you're going to have to be more specific.
Like, I think at one point they're talking to him, he's like, yeah, I'm going to go get a bite to eat. He's just like real casual about, I guess it's out of his hands because he always can say, hey, the stewards are looking at it. It's not me,
Yeah, it's probably just out of context.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure everything is. I mean, Drive to Survive is an out-of-context television show.
100%. It's reality TV. So I enjoyed, we got, like we've been saying, we got more shit talking. We had Toto playing some mind games when he was telling the camera and his team, Christian is like a Jack Russell Terrier.
Right. Just nipping at your heels.
Right. And it's also a size joke because Toto's like 2 feet taller than Christian Horner.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Then you have Christian Horner saying, I could have him in a fight.
Yeah.
That's so funny that both the team principals are constantly looking for affirmation from their guys about if they looked tough or if they were funny.
Yeah, how much is Christian Horner and the other guy's like, you really got him there, boss.
Yeah, it was the cheesiest fucking shit I've ever heard.
Like, oh man, you really roasted him there.
Like, Christian Horner's always putting his chest out to his own guys like, yeah, I'm going to go in that press conference and I'm going to tell Toto what I think.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, you will, boss.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to get him here. Wait till you see what I say in this presser.
They're both guilty of it. Like, both of them, it's just circle jerks left and right behind them.
And then, Ryan, you had Bottas in one of the races. I can't remember which one, but it could have been any number of races where he had the failure, I think, late. And then he just comes and says, normal day in the office. He was just pissed, right?
Yeah.
Basically saying, like, yeah, this is what I'm reduced to now at Mercedes is, either struggling to score points or retiring from all sorts of races.
Yeah.
And then, Ryan, you had the Valtteri Bottas and Toto Wolff liquid lunch at Toto's dope-ass Monaco pad.
Yeah, what did that meeting end up being about? Because
I think it was basically Toto trying to say, like, you're going to be a good boy and continue racing for us. I think it was him basically being like, are you still going to race for us here to close out the season? Like, we're going to need you potentially to follow team orders or do certain things so we can lock up hopefully both championships.
Yeah, I just couldn't remember what
it was. Are you going to play ball? Liquid lunch. I
just couldn't remember what they broached in that meeting, but I did get a kick out of Toto telling Bottas to take his shoes off.
Yeah,
and then Bottas jokingly say, because Toto was like, "Can I get you something to drink?" And Valtteri said, "Yeah, your most expensive bottle of wine you have."
Yeah, and then Toto was going to do it.
Toto was game.
He was going to agree. He was like, "Oh, it's 11." He was
like, "It's 10:30. We could do that." And then
Valtteri was like, "No, just sparkling water, please." Do you have sparkling? You don't think he has sparkling water? He has anything in that pad.
It's Toto. He has the world. I was hoping that Toto was going to be like, he would come out of the kitchen with a box of wine.
Yeah,
something just dirt cheap.
Franzia.
Yeah, some Andre. Something hilarious.
Yeah. And Ryan, we talked earlier in episode 6 when Jos Capito was joking about squeezing balls, and I liked later when Toto was like, you put your balls on the dashboard with that.
Yeah, it's a track where you have to put your balls on the dashboard.
Yeah, I like that. I like that visual, right? Like, how are you supposed to drive if your balls are on the dash of your F1 car?
Which track was that he was talking about?
I think that was Saudi.
Okay.
In Jeddah, yeah. Yeah,
so another thing that really had me laughing was, we had that interview. It was either before Qatar or Saudi where Christian Horner was like, I don't need to go to the media kissing Toto's ass, all this stuff.
Right.
After the fucking press conference, Toto goes to his guys and he whispers to one of them and he goes, why is he always talking about my ass?
So much ass talk in Drive to Survive.
So much ass play. It's so funny.
So, again, Ryan, you forget until you see this episode how bonkers the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix was last season.
It was ridiculous.
You're reminded again of it because we just raced in Saudi Arabia this past weekend as we record this.
Yeah, I can't remember if this was in last year's race at Saudi, but how about that cameraman eating shit when he's trying to follow Lewis?
Yeah.
He bit it hard.
Like a pole or something.
Yeah, he wrapped his nuts around a pole basically, and Lewis was like, oh shit, dude, are you all right?
The other thing that I don't remember, maybe it was a talking point, but they, at least in the episode, made it seem like Max was like severely sick or like just felt like shit, and he looked like shit.
He did look like shit. I remember it coming up briefly that weekend, but it really wasn't a big deal made of it.
But it looked, at least the way he was talking, the way he looked, and they were trying to probably insinuate to some extent that was maybe why he hit the wall and that ridiculous lap he was putting up in quali. Possibly. But he definitely looked like death.
He looked really pale. I remember that. He looked white as a ghost.
Yeah, so that was just interesting. Again, fun to see some of those things that you either forget or you kind of didn't get as much coverage on.
Yeah. Another note I made was we always get these fun entrances by the drivers on Drive to Survive at different tracks. You know, they show them showing up early and all the fans that are there early waiting for them, right? So I think it must have been in Saudi. One of the fans yelled to Perez, take Lewis out. Like, you actually have fans telling drivers to take other drivers out.
Yeah,
which
there's
is hilarious.
a lot of that. You had in the first episode, I think, right, where the guy in Bahrain's like, beat those motherfuckers.
Yeah, kick their asses.
Kick their ass, yeah.
Yeah, but it's just funny to me that fans say shit like, take that guy out.
Yeah, the fans are ruthless, man. Even marshals in the past race. You had a marshal, the Saudi race that just happened this year, 2022. There was some marshals saying that he hoped Hamilton got in a fiery wreck.
Oh, I know. That was terrible.
So, yeah, marshals, fans, all kinds of people aren't afraid to say horrific things about drivers.
Yeah, and the last two notes I have for this episode is one being that, you know, we got to revisit that crazy Saudi race from last season, and it just reminded me again, and we talk about this every year, nobody builds a car like Mercedes in F1. Those things can take so much contact and keep on kicking.
Yeah.
I mean, you rarely see a Mercedes have a DNF from contact.
Right. From any damage.
They're just built bulletproof.
I remember in Monza last year in the season of Drive to Survive when Lewis is trying to reverse from underneath Max's car and continue driving.
I know. That would have been like the ultimate advertisement for Mercedes if Max landed on top of Lewis and Lewis still backed it out of the gravel and continued to race.
Remember last year there were times too where Hamilton had like damage to his wing and the side end plate of his wing and stuff and was still going purple.
Yeah, he was going faster. It was absurd.
Exactly.
And then I got a kick out of how pissed off Christian Horner was after the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, and he's watching Toto doing an interview on a television, and he's like, "Oh, shut up!"
Right. They were both yelling, so on edge.
Like, it's literally like a caricature. He's yelling at the TV because Toto's on it talking. Yeah. It's like a dog.
That's the thing. The professionalism was like so out the window between the two of them because remember we talked about like in season 3 of Drive to Survive how we were worried it was starting to get lame because all kinds of team principals and stuff were like, hey, quiet, the cameras are here. This season, it was like they were so pissed and so under each other's skin, it didn't matter what cameras are around. They were just mother effing each other.
They were fucking craving it.
Yeah.
By the end of the season, they were craving any opportunity to badmouth the other guy.
Yeah.